Nam iti tam vividopayai vishayam stajana divi praradam grahayam asa trivagasho papadanam iti tam vividopayai vishayam stajana divi praradam grahayam asa trivagasho papadanam. Anyone who want to chant that?
Iti tam vividopayaya vishayam starjanadibihi praradam grahayam asa trivargasyo papadanam.
Ititam vividhopayar vishayam starjanadabihi praradam grahayam asham trivargasyo paparanam.
Anyone else on in the Zoom? Word-to-word translation. It is in this way. Him, Prahlad Maharaj, Vivida Upaya, by various means, Vishayan, threatening, Tajana Adibi, by chastisement, threats, etc. Raradam, unto Prahlad Maharaj, Grahayam Asa, thought, Rivagashya, the three goals of life, the paths of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Upapadanam, scripture that presents. Translation and purport by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Sanda and Amaka, the teachers of Prahlad Maharaj, chastised and threatened their disciple in various ways and began teaching him about the paths of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. This is the way they educated him. Purport. In this verse, the words Praradam Grahayam Asa are important. The words Grahayam Asa literally mean that they try to induce Prahlad Maharaj to accept the paths of Dharma, Artha, and Karma, religion, economic development, and sense gratification. People are generally preoccupied with these three concerns without interest in the path of liberation. Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlad Maharaj, was simply interested in gold and sense enjoyment. The word Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu refers to soft cushions and bedding on which people enjoy sense gratification. The word Prahlad, however, refers to one who is always joyful in understanding Brahma, Brahma Bhuta, Prashanatma. Prahlad means Prashanatma, always joyful. Prahlad was always joyful in worshiping the Lord, but in accordance with the instructions of Hiranyakashipu, The teachers were interested in teaching him about material things. Materialistic persons think that the path of religion is meant for improving their material conditions. Just to receive some benediction to improve his material life, he goes to a sadhu or so-called swami to take advantage of an easy method for achieving material opulence. In the name of religion, the so-called sadhus try to satisfy the senses of the materialist by showing them shortcuts to material opulence. Sometimes they give some talisman or blessing. Sometimes they attract materialistic persons by producing gold. Then they declare themselves God. And foolish materialists are attracted to them for economic development. As a result of this process of cheating, others are reluctant to accept a religious process. And instead, they advise people in general to work for material advancement. This is going on all over the world, not only now, but since time immemorial. No one is interested in moksha, liberation. There are four principles: Dharma, religion; moksha, liberation. There are four principles: Dharma, religion; Artha, economic development; Kama, sense gratification; and moksha, liberation. People accept religion to become materially opulent, and they should want. And why should one be materially opulent? For sense gratification. Thus, people prefer these three margas, the three parts of materialistic life. No one is interested in liberation, and Bhagavad, and no one is interested in liberation and Bhagavad Bhakti. Devotional service to the Lord is above even liberation. Therefore, the process of devotional service, Krishna consciousness, is extremely difficult to understand. This will be explained later by Prahlad Maharaj. The teachers Sanda and Amaka tried to induce Prahlad Maharaj to accept the materialistic way of life, but actually their attempt was a failure. Om Gyana Timiranda Shya Gyana Jana Salakaya Chakshu Amlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Nabhutali Swam Pakramayan Dadati Swapadanti Kam. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jakapati, Gopisha Gopika Kantarada Kantana Mostite. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Iti Namini. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shitatmani Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Namini. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nevo Shri Shashunya Vadipashati Adisatarini Vanjakapatarubiascha Kripa Sindhubhya Ivacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasari Gauravata Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Again, the text reads that, let's see, translation. Sanda and Amaka, the teachers of Prahlad Maharaj, chastised and threatened their disciple in various ways and began teaching him about the path of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. This is the way they educated him. Hare Krishna. So basically speaking, we see that this is the trend of the world today. Everybody wants to go to church or go to the temple. Most people, for one thing, how they can gain some prosperity. I'm going to worship God for prosperity if I go to church. And some even pray to God that, oh Lord, help me for my business to prosper. And when I get the money, then I'll use my money to worship you. So we tend to be business people. We use the service of God as business. God help me to be rich, and I'll use my money to worship you. But if you are sincere about something, you first put in the effort before you expect the mercy to come. And the effort is you put in the effort. Lord, I want to worship you. I want to serve you. So you put in the effort. And if God himself realized, if Krishna himself realized that, oh, Ajamil needs some money to worship me, then he will provide the money for you. But if you first go and say, first give me the money, then I will worship you. It doesn't work that way. Because immediately you get the money, you forgot about God. There is this one Indian movie where a man and his wife living together. The woman was very devoted, very, very devoted to Krishna. He has some small temple in the house, always there worshiping Krishna. Any little money she gets, he put it in the donation box. And she uses that money to purchase stuff like ghee wicks, ghee, and all these things for puja. The husband didn't want to worship Krishna. He's always blaming Krishna. That why are we so poor? If you are truly God, why are we so poor? So one day, this man went in front of the temple, or the small altar in the house, and said, okay, my wife is always worshiping you. And I don't see any improvement in her life. We are always suffering. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to loan some money from you. So he opened the donation box that the wife has been putting something in it. Took the money out of it and said, I'm going to take a loan from you. If you help me to win the lottery, then I will serve you. So he took the money and went for the lottery. And he won big. So he opened a big time like a coffee shop, right? And then gradually his business was booming. The guy was going. And then one day he was in the house relaxing. The wife was not there. The children were not in the house. Then Krishna appeared to him. You see, the way Krishna works in so many ways, sometimes you can't understand Krishna. The wife who is so devoted, Krishna never appeared to her. But Krishna appears to this husband. And Krishna said, don't forget our contract. You said, if I give you money, you worship me. But you've won the money. You've seen, you started doing big business and still no worship. So what is going on? Don't worry, Krishna. I'll worship you. First, let me stabilize my business. Let me do everything, and then I will devote my whole time to worship. Krishna said, okay. This man went on his business. He was doing this business, and never worshipped Krishna. So sometimes he even tells his wife, oh, you've been worshiping Krishna. Has he shown himself to you before? I see him every day. We always have discussion. And the wife never believed him. The kids never believed him because they're thinking, what do you mean? You? Why would Krishna show himself to you? Then somehow or the other, the guy started falling sick. He became so sick. Now, he started praying to Krishna again, that Krishna should help him to recover from his sins, to recover from the disease. And that once he recovers, he will worship him. So one day, Krishna appeared again to him. And Krishna said, oh, Now you are demanding another thing. First, you stole my money. You stole my money and you asked me to help you. And then when you get money, you worship me. I gave you my money. You won the lottery. I helped you. You won the lottery. Now you refuse to worship me. At least, if you are not even going to worship me, give me back my money. But you are not giving me back my money. You keep postponing. You keep always telling me you worship me. Now you are sick. And now you are asking me for another thing. And so Krishna asked him, so what medication have you been given? He said, well, when I went to the hospital, the doctors prescribed terramycin. And Krishna said, what sin? No, he said, Krishna said, terra what? He said, terramycin. Krishna said, okay. Then he said, and what again? So all the antibiotics that ends with sin. Krishna will ask, and the guy will be mentioning this. And Krishna said, oh, how do you see? All the medication they have been giving you, it ends with my sin. So why don't you help yourself by taking that part of the name out? And you'll be okay. So this is the nature of the world. Like I always say that we are so absorbed in thinking about this world that sometimes we try to justify the nonsense we are doing with scripture. Right? The same thing. Prahlad's teachers, they were trying to teach him things of this world, but they were trying to justify. But because Prahlad was so absorbed in thinking of the Lord, then whatever they try to do, Prahlad transforms it in a different way, right? So similarly, in our everyday lives, we should learn how to transform everything in the service of the Lord. Then our lives will be perfect. We shouldn't become, God, first give me this, then I will worship you. If you do that business with the Lord, you are going to lose always. You are going to lose. So we should stop trying to justify whatever thing we are doing with some philosophy, right? Other than that, we will always try to justify our nonsense. And that is the perfect example in the Bible when in the 12th chapter of the book of John, from verse 3 down. Mary Magdalene, Jesus visited their house, and Mary Magdalene came to Jesus, and she had the most expensive oil in the house. She brought it out, poured the oil on the feet of Jesus, washed the feet of Jesus with the expensive oil, and she wiped it with her hair. And Judas Iscariot, because he was so materially engrossed, said, oh, no, you shouldn't be doing this. Lord, why would you allow her to do that? This oil is very expensive. We can sell it and use the proceeds to help the poor. That's very philosophical, right? Taking care of the poor is better than just pouring this thing out, right? On the feet of Jesus. But why? Jesus knew his mentality. He knew the mentality of Judas because he was the treasurer. He was the one who was keeping the money. And so any money that comes his way, he take his cut. And so immediately he saw the expensive oil being poured at the feet of Jesus. Immediately he started forming some philosophy to substantiate his claim. We can sell it and use the proceeds for the benefit of the poor. serve the poor. And Jesus looked at him and he said, the poor will always be with you, but me, I will not always be with you. So now that you have me, you take advantage of my presence, right? So struggling to make ends meet, the system, it will always be available. The struggling will always be available. But to dedicate yourself to the Lord is not always available because your lifespan is very limited. So now that you have the opportunity, take advantage of that. Take advantage of pouring the oil on the feet of the guru and worship and wiping it with your hair, because the guru is not always there for you to take advantage of. So take advantage now. Now that you have the opportunity, don't misuse it. Take advantage and make progress. Once you start making that progress, then you come to the realization that guru is always with you, because now you begin to understand not the physical presence of the guru, but you begin to understand what the instruction aspect of the guru. And that is how you make advancement in your life. Other than that, you try to use a lot of philosophy, like Arjuna was trying to do to Krishna towards the end chapters of chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. I think from verse 38 down to 40 or so. Arjuna was telling Krishna about Somyo. No, Krishna, I don't think we have to fight this fight. No. It's very inappropriate. Because if I kill all these men, then the women in the society will not have any protection and they will be loose. And when the women become loose, then they will give birth to unwanted progeny. And when unwanted progeny comes into the system, then there will be what? Degradation. The family culture will be lost and there will be degradation. Arjuna was telling Krishna about heavy, powerful philosophy. And it makes sense, right? I kill the people, there will be no control over the women. So the family tradition will be lost. And once the family tradition is lost, then what happens? The women will be loose. Any man can take advantage of them. And they will give birth to unwanted progeny. And from that, when unwanted progeny are come into the system, they will not follow any rules and regulations. They will not even offer oblation to the forefathers. And so the whole system becomes what? Chaotic. So Arjuna was telling Krishna all this big time philosophy. And Krishna said, in chapter 2, Krishna was telling Arjuna, you are speaking like an intelligent person, but you are fool number one. Right? So similarly, in our everyday life, we may speak very intelligently. We may think, we may speak big philosophy to justify whatever thing we are doing. But Krishna will look at us and he will tell us, you are speaking such a wonderful philosophy, but you are fool number one. He tell Arjuna, all these people there was never a time that they did not exist. And never would there be a time that they will cease to be. They've been existing, they are existing, then they will continue to exist. Because Krishna was trying to draw Arjuna's attention to a different aspect of existence, not the physical aspect, right? But Arjuna wanted to justify it. Like my grandkids in my house, they have a very smart way of getting their own way. And we do that in devotional service every day. When Nita and Nadia, when they want to popcorn, after eating, they are full. So they go to their mom, we want popcorn. And the mom said, no popcorn. Then they'll go to grandma. Grandma, can we make popcorn? Grandma will say, no. Then they will come to me. And when they come to me, they don't ask me whether they can have popcorn. They come to me and they say, Grandpa, do you want popcorn? And I say, yes. So then they go to the kitchen and they start making popcorn. And then when the mom or the grandma goes to them, what? Told you can't. No, it's not for us. Grandpa says he wants popcorn. And then they will come to me and ask me, did you ask Gita and Nadia to get you? I say, yeah. I asked them to give me. Then everybody will keep quiet. So they bring the popcorn and they sit down with me right there. So that is what we do every day, right? Instead of following the instructions of Krishna to make progress, what we do is we try to justify whatever our desires. We try to justify our desire by quoting Krishna, right? To justify our desires. And it happens everywhere. And if we don't take care, I mean, this thing, it begins from the family level. When you are home with your children and your kids, and you don't put your feet down and you don't make sure that you try to, by your example, first by your personal example, try to teach them how to always see Krishna first, how to always see Krishna in every activity they do. And this builds the nucleus, because the family is the nucleus of the community. Because if the family is not strong, then the community cannot be strong. So when the family becomes strong, seeing everything in relationship to Krishna, then the community becomes strong. And once the community becomes strong, then the village will become strong. And when the village is strong, then the city will be strong. Then the country will be strong. And then the entire planet will be strong. But if we don't build from inside out, then there will always be problem. The same thing applies. It doesn't only apply to the family, it also begins in the community itself. The leaders of the community should make sure that they behave in such a way that everybody, somehow or the other, no matter how the person wants to justify his or her activity with some philosophy, the leader's duty is to make sure that he is always able to bring the people of the community together and to find a way to help them all get themselves absorbed in thinking about Krishna. Other than that, things will not happen. Because if you don't do that, then anytime you have a little problem with anybody in the community, the person ceases to even to come to the temple to render some service. And then what happens? And the onus lies on you as a leader. It's like the same thing if you are a parent in the house, you have to have some very intelligent way to help your children. Some of the children may not even be interested in practicing Krishna consciousness. But it's your duty to find a ways and means to help them. You can't impose anything to anybody. If you try to impose yourself on anybody, you won't get no good results. Find a very good way to make them get them interested in whatever you are doing. In this one, you can gradually build the nucleus. And when the nucleus is solid, then things can happen. Some people will say that, oh, no. The scripture says no attachment to family, no attachment to wife, children, and kids, no attachment to family. So I will only render my service in the temple. You are deceiving yourself, because charity begins at home. And once you bring these children into the world, it's your duty to make sure that they make progress on their spiritual path. Why are you always thinking, oh, this is material attachment? What in the world is not material? If you want to serve Krishna, Krishna says, if you offer me with love and devotion, what? A leaf, a flower, a little water. The leaf, is the leaf spiritual? The flower, is it spiritual? The water, is it spiritual? How does it become spiritual? It becomes spiritual when you transform it. By what? By first giving it to Krishna. Then we don't call it a leaf anymore. We don't call it flower anymore. We call it prashadam. Similarly, the bodies that you brought in this world, the body of your kids, you brought them here, you gave them that body. So if you are saying you don't want to be attached to them, then who should be attached to them? Who should transform their body to become a prashadam? It's you. You have to transform their body to be prashadam. And how can you do that? Oh, no. They are materially conscious and blah, 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 blah. And if you help your kids, it's not something special that you are doing. You are not doing nothing special because it is your duty. You bring somebody into this world and you don't fulfill your duty. You think Krishna will just let you go? No, you have to fulfill your duty. So when we talk about devotion, when we talk about sadhu sangha begins in our home. Your wife and your children, they are the first disciples, your first disciples. They are the first devotees. So you have to give them sadhu sangha. The sadhu sangha begins from home. So if you cannot relate to them properly, what makes you think that if you go to the temple, you can relate to the other devotees properly? Even the ones that were generated from within you, you cannot even relate to them properly. What makes you think you can relate with other people? You deceive yourself, right? So we have to learn how to build ourselves from inside out. We build ourselves from inside out. And so when we do that, the same thing will happen in the community. The community will build itself from inside out. So people from outside, they will see us and they will want to be part of us because we are able to show empathy. We are able to show love. We are able to show what? Be concerned. Try to be our brother's keeper. Other than that, the whole system will break down. It will break down and it will not help us in any way. And then we become to follow religiosity, economic development, sense gratification. And we think that is all in all. What makes you think that if you make some by building some fancy things in your place, that is spiritual progress? Don't deceive yourself. Spiritual progress is from the heart. You become your brother's keeper, right? Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments? We have about 16 minutes left. So yes, Mata, please come forward. The people on the Zoom will want to hear you. So you take this microphone, and when you speak from it, then the people can hear. Please.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And you're such an example. You're about the community and the family being the nucleus. But I was thinking, and I was just adding that both needs to happen simultaneously, right? You know, building your family Krishna consciously and also contributing to the temple. Because I'm noticing life is so short that if you spend 100% building family, you know, people are resistant. There's different types of personalities and families that you can seemingly lose your life also by not also contributing your time to the temple. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Thank you, Martha. Martha's question is that did you guys hear from the Zoom the question that Martha was asking? He's saying that building the nucleus, which is the family level, it should happen simultaneously with you trying to give some service to the temple, right? Yeah. Basically speaking, it's like you building a house and you are so much concerned with the foundation that I build a foundation. And once I'm done with the foundation, the body of the house is not necessary. Then where will you live? Because the foundation is always underneath, even though it's the one that is supporting everything. So the foundation is important, very, very important. But after putting the foundation in, you have to build the body. So similarly, after building the nucleus, then you have to build the body, which is the community. And how can you build a community without the temple? Because the temple becomes the center of the community. And that is why we do it simultaneously. It goes hand in hand. Other than that, we always deceive ourselves. And that is why we need knowledge. Because other than that, some people will even deceive us. They will make us feel that maybe giving our service to the temple is the only thing that is important. Any other thing is not important, right? And that would be like the king who told his subjects that I want to build a palace. But this palace, I want you guys to build it from top down. First put the roofs, then you put the sides and everything before you come and build the foundation. But everybody was scared to challenge the king, because if you challenge the king, he kills you. But before then, before he even made that pronouncement, he has given an order that everybody should kill their mothers and their fathers. Because the old folks, they are always troublesome. We don't need them. So everybody did in the village. Everybody killed the parents. But except one guy. His father has already died, but he took his mom to the forest and hid the mom in the cave. So every now and then he will go there, give some food to the mother, and take advice from the mother. So when the king asked them to build the palace from top down, everybody was confused. How are we going to do this? And everybody was scared. He has given them 1 week to do that, 7 days. So this boy, one night, he sneaked to the forest and went to meet the mother, the old mother. And the mother said, no, that is easy. You guys can build the temple from top down, because we have a tradition. And the tradition says that for us to put what do we call it? A palace. It is the chief's duty to put the first foundation, to put the first block in the foundation. That is the tradition. Other than that, the palace will not be, a genuine palace. So go and tell the king that, yeah, we are ready to build it, but you have to put the first roof. That is the custom. So the guy came, he met with his people, all the artisans, and they approached the king. They said, oh, we have sat down and discussed. Now we are ready to put the building up. But by custom, you, the king, you have to put the first block. So if it's from the foundation, then you put the first brick. But if it's from the top, then you put the first roof. Then we continue from there. The king listened to them and he said, okay, there is no palace. We don't need any palace. Because he understood that he cannot do he cannot put the first roof. Knowledge. And the wisdom was gotten from who? The old grandma who has been hidden in the forest. And similarly, we first get the knowledge, but we let the knowledge be properly applicable in our everyday life. And this way, then we can relate very nicely with authorities that we live with. We can relate very nicely in our family level, and wherever we live, we can live peacefully together. So we must get the proper knowledge, right? We don't have to be very whimsical. Do things whimsically. Because if it comes to that level, then we will always try to justify our nonsense with scripture. I tell you, if you want to justify every nonsense, you can quote a lot of scripture verses to justify your nonsense. All right? Any other question?
Prabhu, I don't have any questions, but your comments spread gratitude to yourself for being a source of knowledge in this community, it's important that individuals such as yourself, and I just want to express my personal appreciation and my gratitude for your association. And I want to say for all of you, I'm just so appreciative of this community, because without this community, I don't have anything. I have my family, I have this community, so I just want to express that my thankfulness and my gratitude to my God brothers and my God sisters, and that I am thankful that I can be in this community and possibly serve you all in some sort of way. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ajame Prabhu, for appreciating the community that we are in. And that is how to make progress in our life. If you have a very strong community, then everybody who comes around, somehow or the other, it's affected. It's a community, a very strong community is like a disease that you come into that and you'll be affected by that disease, right? Like when COVID came, you go close to anybody who has contacted COVID, and what happens? You get the disease too. So when you build a very strong and very viable community, that is what you do. Anybody who comes into the environment is affected, and the person will want to be part of it, right? And that is the way to make progress in Krishna consciousness. Very important. Other than that, we will be like Kadru and Vinita. Vinita and Kadru, they are both daughters of Daksha, and they were both married to Kashyapa Muni. But Vinita was very devoted to Lord Vishnu. And everything she does, she succeeds. So she and Kadru, they used to have what do we call a wager, huh? They will see something and they will bet on it. And Vinita was always winning. So Kadru became so jealous of Vinita that she wanted to teach Vinita a lesson, right? So what did he do? She said, okay, now our next wager is the horse of Indra. What is the color of the horse of Indra? And Vinita said, Indra's horse is pure white. That divine horse is pure white, solid white, like snow. Then Kadru said, no, it's white, but the tail is black. Meanwhile, Kadru knows that the tail is white. But in order to be able to win that wager, she was thinking in it, I have to cheat to win this wager. Then I'll teach her a lesson. So immediately Kadru said, when Vinita asked, what do we call it? The bet. And Kadru said, whoever wins, the loser will become a servant of the winner. And Vinita said, that's okay. So they put the wager. So every morning, this divine horse will come to the sea and have a dip and go. So they say in the morning we'll go there and find out what color is the horse, is the divine horse. I don't have much time, so I'll cut the story short. So what happened was, Kadru, she is the mother of the snakes because she's the progenitor. You know, Kashyapa Muni is a progenitor. He gave birth to the demons, the demigods, the snakes, the birds. So Kashyapa Muni, he's the father of what do we call Ananta Shesha. He's the father of Vashuki, the snake that is always around the neck of Lord Shiva. He's the father of what do you call it? The carrier of Vishnu. What's the name? Garud. So Garud's mother is Vinita. And Ananta Shisha's mother is Kadru. Right? So Kadru told her children, I have a wager with Vinita, and I want you guys to help me. Early morning, the divine horse will come and dip itself in there. So you should be ready there. Immediately you see the divine horse, you should wrap yourself around the tail. So the children did that. They were waiting, and immediately they saw the horse, they wrapped themselves around the tail of the horse. And so Kadru said, okay, Vinita, you see that the horse is over there in a distance. Do you see the tail? The tail is black. And Vinita said, okay, you win. But the amazing thing is, Vinita already knew about the cheating, but she didn't say anything. She submitted herself because she was thinking, oh, always I win. So this time I will let my sister win. Huh? So she didn't complain. And when she won, immediately said, now you have to take all your jewelry off, everything. Now you always come to my house and you serve me, you will do the cooking. They are all the wives of Kashyapa Muni. Now Kadru has turned Vinita into what? Into a slave. And Vinita was perfectly serving her in a very humility form. The husband knew it, how Kadru has cheated. But he kept quiet because he didn't want to be like, take sides. And so sometimes you do that when we are in a community, we think like Kadru. Always finding a way. Because someone is making so much progress, instead of being like Vinta, taking advantage of what? Learning from that person and making progress, we want to bring the person down by what? Using some dubious means, letting our children become wrap themselves around the tail of the horse so that we can win the wager. We don't have to do that. This story has a lot to it, but I think our time is almost up. So I will end it. And we can continue it another time. Hare Krishna. I didn't see any question from the Zoom. Lila Kishore Mataji is there. Taraka Prabhu is there. Yashoda. Yasudev Prabhu. And there is a Zoom user. Who is that?
Thank you, Hari Chakra Prabhu, for such a wonderful class, full of so many instructive stories. You've given us a lot to meditate on. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Yasudev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, good morning. Thank you so much for this class, this instructive class. And I really appreciated when you talked about how charity begins at home. You didn't say it stays there, it has to reside there. You said it begins there, it's the foundation. And so thank you so much for bringing that into light. How we start is how we finish.
Thank you. Thank you. And Guru Maharaj also say, Srila Teta Maharaj always says that the very people, when you are climbing up the ladder, the very people you meet whilst you are climbing up, when you are coming down, they are the very people you will meet. So when you are climbing up, you associate very nicely with them so that when it's time for you to come down, then they will help you. Other than that, if you become so rude and disrespectful whilst you are climbing up, when you are coming down, everybody will also abandon you and your life will be very miserable, right? Thank you. Prabhu, you had anyone, the pujaris, are we ready to stop? Let us know. You ready? All right. Tantram Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Radha Damodara Lalita Vishaka ki jai, Shri Gosum Gornitai ki jai. Hare Krishna. Srila Krishna Prabhupada ki jai. verses, Prabhu? Vantam Aravinda Dalayata Sham Bhagavatam Sama Sita Purashura Vishesha Suva Govinda Adi Purusha Pajami Govinda Adi Purusha Pajami Govinda Adi Purusha Bhajami Angani Yashya Sakale Driyavriti Mante Pashanti Pampi Kalayanti Sira Jaganti Ananda Jara Vigrasya Govinda Madhipurusha Tam Bhajami 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 Govinda Adipurusha 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 Pajami Govinda Matpurusha Pajami Govinda Madhipurusha Pajami Govinda Madhipurusha Pajami Govinda Madhipurusha Madhipurusha Pajami Govinda Madhipurusha Jami Vinda Madhipurusha Jami Govinda Madhipurusha Vinda Madhipurusha Vajami Vinda Madhipurusha Vajami Govinda Madhipurusha Vajami Pada Pada Ja Pada Jaya Pada Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Sari Gaur Govinda. Don't wish me God from His Aparival, which I must go to the Nastashishima. His divine grace, but his Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Maharaj is there. It is confirmed that a child Jagat Guru Param Guru Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Savior of the whole world, Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Another Puja Bhashan ki jai. Shila Machar Ramachar Shila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Ram Sikhe Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shastri Sari Guru Bhakta. Shri Radha Damodara Gopa Kapita Shama Kundrada Kunjigodana ki jai. Vrindavan Dhamma ki jai. Manchura Dhamma ki jai. Namadev Dhamma ki jai. Ayodhya Dhamma ki jai. Nila Chala Jagannath Puri Dhamma ki jai. Shri Dhamma Dhamma ki jai. Shri Gita Nagari Dhamma ki jai. Glories to the people of Shri Radha Damodara Lalita Vishaka ki jai. Glories to the people of Shri Jagannath Paladi Subhadra ki jai. Glories to the people of Shri Gora Sundra ki jai. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Sama Vida Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hari Nam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. Hari Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Nitai Gora Vrinda. All glories to the Supreme Body. All glories to the Supreme Body. All glories to the Supreme Body. All glories to the Lord Supreme Guru and Shri Gauranga. The Lord is giving us that. My Lord, which you can take care of the shop service. God, please go to sleep. By His grace, one control motion, material sales. No change message of the sheep. My relationship, my consciousness to this one. By the wisdom I need from this as well. Attractions to be patience with whose oils. You open my dark side and since this my heart of trust and comfort. He is my God that from him I started to my peace. By him with nonsense. The very discussion of business. I ask for Master in the bishop miss. Then of the point on the master of it. Oh Master of the residence keys. You are the shade of the Lord. Your friends spread all of our things. We take she down. Shiva Prabhupada King. I'm amazed that just returned from the Holy Land. You should get a message from him.